Morning friends, welcome back to our IC38 learning session. We are in chapter 11, the second chapter in the health segment in the series of learning five chapters in health segment and nine chapters in the life segment. So I am sure you are well prepared with the first 10 chapters and now moving on to the 11th chapter, which speaks about health insurance documentation. Right, so we will understand more about how health insurance proposal form is converted into a policy by a health insurance company, and what are all the how it impacts the end user, who is the customer who stands benefited by health insurance as a segment. Right. So we speak about health insurance documentation, and just to recall, we are in chapter 11. Right. This chapter takes us through documents and their importance in health insurance contract. In a nutshell, the five different stages of how the documents are managed by a health insurance company is: it starts with the proposal form, and then it goes into the underwriting, where the underwriters assess the risk to be accepted by the health insurance company. They scrutinize the details given by customer in the proposal form in this stage called underwriting. Third, there is a prospectus for every policy which is being issued, which speaks about the benefits of the policy taken. Finally, fourth step is the stage where the health insurance company accepts the risk and a policy document is issued to the customer. If required, there are conditions and warranties added in any policy depending on the details shared by the customer in the proposal form. So various stages from proposal form to policy issuance is what the documents travel through. Right. So let's start with the proposal form. Proposal form contains information useful for insurer to assess and accept the risk based on the details shared by the customer in the proposal form. This is the first stage, the proposal form being filled by the customer and submitted to the health insurance company. Right, so what are all the details which will be there in the proposal form? In general, we will see proposer name, address, sex, income, date of birth as basic details, and it will also speak about any exclusions, provisions, medical condition questions have to be answered by the customer, and in case if the customer is currently having any specific disease, he will be highlighting about that as well, which speaks about his health condition, which will help the health insurance company to issue the policy. To continue further on what other information will be covered in a proposal form: any illness or accidents of the past, any insurance claims which has happened. Then the customer gives a declaration, and finally he says he agrees that all the statements given are truthful to issue the contract. So the conditions are accepted by the customer. Insured person accepts the terms and conditions laid by the health insurance company, and understanding by accepting it, there are certain benefits which the end user or the customer will be getting. So the insured allows insurer to seek his or her medical information with the hospitals so that the policy can be issued with any exclusions if required. Right, so the first fundamental document is the proposal form. So moving forward, there will be a medical questionnaire which is filled by the customer along with the proposal form, and a complete detailed questionnaire talking about diabetes, hypertension, chest pain, coronary infection. Questionnaires are answered by the customer for the health insurance company to assess the health status of the individual. The company's panel doctors scrutinize these forms, and further they issue or decline the policy for the customer. So what are all the questions other than these basic details which are collected? It speaks about previous and present insurance, claim experience related questions will be there in the proposal form for the customer to respond to. Right, so this is an important stage which is called as underwriting, which is accepting the proposal and issuing the policy. A complete proposal given by the customer is underwritten by the health insurance company, and the expert doing that work is called as an underwriter. Right, so what are all the details he will be checking? Details of the insured, what is the details of the subject matter, types of the cover required, details of physical features, both positive negative mentioned in the proposal form, and the previous history of insurance and claim, if any, taken by the customer. Based on these details, the policy is moved into a enforce status by the underwriter's approval. So further moving forward, to know more about the product, the customer will read through something called as a prospectus, so which has a brochure or a leaflet speaking about the basics of the product, and it gives a complete details. The prospectus gives the complete details as per the Insurance Act 1938, Protection of Policyholders' Interest 2017, and Health Insurance Regulation 2016. IRDA allows insurers to collect premiums in installments as mentioned in the prospects, and Section 64 5B of the Insurance Act 1938 stipulates that premiums have to be collected in advance. All these information will be part of the prospectus given to the customer for his understanding before making the premium in advance. The next stage is the policy document is given to the customer, and the policy document has all details like the terms and conditions, premium payable, date of birth, age of the insured, add-on covers if anything added, action to be taken during claim, obligations, policy migration, provision for cancellation, period of insurance, the product UIN, the unique identification number, sum insured, name and address of insured, sublimits, deductions, waiting period if any, how many days free look-in period is available in this policy, what is the grievance mechanism available for the customer, any exclusions, and lastly address of ombudsman. So policy document has all these details. Okay. Finally, we will talk about conditions and warranties. Conditions and warranties are part of the policy document, and it gives a provision in an insurance contract which forms the basis of the agreement. For example, the condition says if the claim be in any respect fraudulent, or if any false declaration be made, all benefits under this policy shall be forfeited. Right. So then this can be one of the condition mentioned in the policy document. Claim must be filled within certain days from the date of discharge from the hospital. This can be one of the conditions mentioned in the policy document. So in addition to conditions, there can also be warranties mentioned, an agreement between insurer and insured that must be carried out fully, which forms part of the policy document. Insurer may be covering the risk of a particular disease on the condition that the insured shall do a quarterly consultation with a specialist. This can be one of the warranties added within the policy document. Right. So in addition to conditions and warranties, there can also be endorsements if required, which will be done in a policy document. Endorsement is the insured has to advise the insurer to do the changes. For instance, if there is a family member getting added, or if there is a deletion of a family member from a policy document, it is done as an endorsement. Right. So to give few more examples, variations, changes in sum insured, addition, deletion of family members, change of insurable interest by way of taking of a loan or mortgaging the policy, all this will be coming under endorsements, and the person who is insured will inform the insurer to get the endorsements done. Few more examples of endorsement: extension to cover additional perils, change in risk, for instance, change of destination in the case of overseas travel policy, cancellation of insurance, change in name or address. All this will come under the endorsement section. So that brings us to the end of chapter 11. Definitely watch the Q&A video of chapter 11 for understanding how questions will be asked from this specific chapter, and once you are done you can move on with the 12th chapter and complete your IC38 preparation. Keep learning. Importantly, prepare keeping in mind the examination point of view, but most importantly, understand the basics of the business so that your interaction with your prospects and customers in future be more effective. Happy learning. All the best.